I'm Barry from Wyant, and welcome to the Professional Cleaning Series. Today we're going to talk to you about cleaning a private bath and shower. In your facility you may run into something like this where you're cleaning it. It could be one, two, you may have multiple, it could be 10 or 20 that you're doing on a daily basis. We're going to show you a couple techniques that we're going to work with today, and we're going to show you some productivity tools that are going to help you be faster and faster, but still get a level of cleanliness that we're working for. There's a couple things that we could do. If this was one tub that we're going to do and that was it, we could use a trigger foamer like this. We could attach it right to a 1 liter bottle. We could simply spray it on. Because I'm doing 10 showers today, we're going to be doing it in a little faster method. But I just want to let you know, if you're doing singles, you can do it this way. But make sure you're using a foaming trigger sprayer, not something that's going to give you any kind of vapor. What I'm going to be using today is a container for applying the product on. We're going to talk about the process for doing this. I'm going to apply a foaming washroom cleaner onto the surface. Then we're going to scrub it as we're rinsing, and you're going to see a nice clean result at the end. Again, with the other areas that we've been cleaning, there's going to be three things that we're going to remember. One is we're going to clean from clean to more soiled areas. We're going to work from top to bottom. There is a little caveat to this one today. We're going to show you that, especially when we're applying product. We're going to talk about that in a bit. And then what we're going to do is work in a process that is going to allow you to get a design for your own facility in case it's a little different setup. First and foremost, I'm going to apply some product. We're going to realize, especially focusing on the areas that have some buildup. On this type of unit, remember, we can spray. Because I want to have a foam, I'm going to make sure that my trigger is closed. And now I'm just going to apply product. This is one difference where we normally talk applying from top to bottom. I'm going to apply the product, especially from bottom to the top. So I'm going to apply a light coat across the bottom here. We're going to be able to work it across. Why would I apply from top or from bottom to top? What you're going to see on here is that I'm going to do is that as it's going down, we can't fight gravity, but by applying it from the bottom to the top, we're going to have even coverage of the soil that's coming down. We're going to avoid any streaks, especially if we start at the top. You may see some streaks coming in. So we're going to apply some product. Although I'm doing my floors after, I just want to make sure that I'm going to provide it on here. And then again, I'm going to come across the center. I don't need a lot. It's going to give you some coverage. This area, I'm going to do, depending on the frequency of your facility, you may have to apply it a little more often. This one here we're going to do on a weekly basis. We're just going to allow it to nicely slow down as well here. But again, applying it from the bottom to the top. So that gives us a little bit of dwell time. We can see we have nice even coverage. You can see I haven't come out to the outside yet. Although I'm doing my floor last, I don't want to have excess chemical coming out to the floor. We want to just make sure that everything works. The foaming action on the wall gives us some contact time that now when we're going to go scrub and rinse, we're going to have the ability to wash that right down into the tub itself. So what I'm going to do now is just apply some product. I'm going to turn my water on slowly. I don't need a lot of water, but I want to make sure that I get my cloth wet so that I can rinse it off here. I'm using a tool that's an extension tool. It saves me bending over in the tub. But now what I'm going to do is start to work from the top to the bottom. And by doing this, I'm going to be able to rinse it. It's okay to add water as required. If you want, make sure that you're shutting it off just for you don't have a lot of water going. And now I'm going to just continue to work downward. Again, from top to bottom. The tool that I'm using today is flexible for these type of surfaces. Is that as we're doing that, it allows us to work around, and you'll see especially when we get down to the bottom, it'll allow us to get down into the corners and be nice and flexible there as well. So again, working from top to bottom, we're trying to get all this rinsed off here as well. Just going to add a little more water to the bottom here as well. Because of the flexibility, we just want to make sure it comes. We don't need a ton of water. We just want to make sure that we're giving a nice rinse off here as well. We don't want to get over too far because again we don't want it on the floor, and we want to avoid splashing. Because we're working above our heads here, you can see that we've been working with our safety glasses and we're getting very effective in here. You can see the tool here, which is why I do like this tool. It gives a nice bend as we're working over the edge. It allows us to get into corners and work nicely down the corner and get into all these areas as well. And then I'm just going to scrub on the inside. Any panels that I'm going to grab, my tool is going to be effective for getting in there as well. And then we're just going to rinse down in here to the bottom. Just give it a little more water, and then make sure that the tub is nice and cleaned out as well. Make sure the excess water is coming out. As a final step, there's a couple areas that I had here as well that I just didn't get to. A couple areas, and I also want to make sure some of the areas that you may notice, especially if we're working between guests, we want to make sure that the next person's coming in not noticing any streaks. We're going to look at those high touch areas. We're going to look at areas that people tend to notice. A couple of the lighter low touch areas we're just going to do down the side here where I haven't seen. There could be some spotting coming down. There's not going to be a lot here. We're going to do on both sides, just outside. We're going to get there in case people do have a splashing issues. We're going to then work down the outside here, do down the panel, clean. I'm going to apply a little more product. And then I'm just going to go down my ledge where I missed earlier. And I'm going to start working again from top to bottom. I'm going to clean the shower head off, making sure that's nice and clean, nice and shiny. Here, I'm going to work the areas across here with the bars, in back as well, making sure that works. Any soap dispensers, it's a little difficult when we're trying to get a little more productive with the hands with the extension wand. This area does require a little more detail. And then we're going to work down into some of the tap areas and then finish up, especially the areas that people are going to see, and then make sure they're nice and shiny here as well. So that gives us a quick look at where people are going to be touching in the bath. We've shown you a quick way of doing it by foaming. Again, normally we'll talk about that process of top to bottom. This is one of those areas where we need to apply the product from bottom to top, but always remember we're going to rinse from top to bottom. So I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to watch the video today. This is Barry just reminding you to keep clean and stay safe.